Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. The purpose of the previous video was to show you how to take everything out of two different systems. Now the purpose of this video is to show you that you can put a motherboard out of one system into a different case. The purpose of the case, and the reason why we're doing that, not purpose but reason, is because the case, the black case was too big. The blue case was smaller. It fit on a shelf where it goes. It's in the basement. It runs the house. So we're going to go in later videos probably about how to configure a smart home. And that way you could do this yourself too. And it's a little older system, but it works just fine. And it does everything we need it to do. Now what we're going to do is assemble everything into the smaller case. So come on along for the ride. Microfiber pad and a paper towel. Paper towel takes the thermal compound off the processor. You always want to start with a new thermal compound. Now, this board isn't that dirty because it's pretty much been in the basement behind a partial plastic shroud. Oh, isn't that doesn't get that hot back there, so I'm not worried about it. The only thing I am thinking about now is that I have on this board, I have CPU fan. You can't see it very clearly, but you get the idea. It's CPU fan, and we have a system fan. That's the only two. Now this has two fans back here, and each fan has separate connectors. I'm sure I have an adapter, or at least I'm hopeful I have an adapter. Then I'm going to adapt this so that we can run all of our fans and maybe even control them. But for now, I want to get as much dust as I can out of this, since this system, it's a gigabyte. It's an AMD system. It's a gigabyte GA-78LMT-S2P. I think it says gamer when you go onto the site. It says gaming or something. On off, has a nice little, that's not a switch. On off charge. Oh, that's right, so that you can, using a program, you could charge different devices. Has a little legend here, tells you what pins go in where, which is nice. You have where the power plugs into your RAM, your processor, and it's already in there. I don't see any need to take it out. See, it's an older board, so it has the keyboard and mouse, VGA, DVI. It's regular 4 USB ports. This is high-speed Ethernet port, your audio inputs and outputs. And then you have your connectors for your this is your main BIOS. It has a backup BIOS. This is your clear to clear your CMOS. An old COM port. This is again the system fan. This is USB 2 and 1. And then you have your SATA connections 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so a total of 6, even though it says 0 through 5, which is still 6. Hey, so set that there. This is not the right one. The right one we can use. Like that. Nope. Wrong one. Wrong. I think. Yeah, this is not the one for this one. Again, this is headless. No, that was the right one. That was the right one. Okay. Since this is headless, I could snip them, make it fit better, but I don't. All I need is the Ethernet, and the audio, which it does allow me access to those. We're going to tape this off, block it off so we're not passing air through. So we'll put that on. Put it back here. Always takes quite a bit of force. Make sure you get them clicked in. And now, oh, surprise the cooler. Now, the processor here does not need this cooler. I could very well easily put the cooler back on it that came with, but nah. That's the cooler we're going to use. This is the cooler from my Ryzen 7, so 2700X. So that is a cooler. Pin, that's USB, so we can control it, and this is so we can power it. Goes to 4-pin. Okay, so well, where is the processor that came out of your other system? Right there, behind that. Which is why I keep it. So now, where'd that come from? Just gonna use the table. It's old, it's wood. It's not gonna get shocked. So because this cooler is compatible with older systems, we have our two, same way of hooking it down. Hopefully this should work. If it doesn't, which it's going to. Now with this type of system, the way this works is, let me take the camera here and I'm going to make you seasick a little bit. Put that up. Now, have this hook, goes down, hooks onto there. Now we're going to spin this around. We're going to release that, goes down there. And all you do is take this little this little lever, take the little lever, bring that up and over. And it clicked. Now this has 4 pins, this has 3 pins. That's okay, because it's compatible. Alright, so what we're going to do is kind of cable manage this by setting that way. Now you have these little slots here. which are covered, which are for these cables. And of course, they only go in one way. When you get old, it's harder to figure out which way is the right way. So that goes in there. We're going to actually keep the rubber band on it, because that's the only way we could cable manage in this system. And it goes into, it's keyed, so it goes into, we'll put this in USB 2. One's blocked. That's what's nice about modern computers. You can't force something in that doesn't go. So that goes there. It's 4-pin. This cable, we don't need. No place for it. So we have that plugged in. Now, back plate on. Way too much cooler for this for that CPU. But you know what? I like it. You could see maybe if we can control the RGB if we're not, or if we can't. Now, remember that plastic pin earlier? There it is. That keeps the motherboard down while we put the other screws in. This keep right there for now. Now we can start put the screws in and make sure everything gets screwed down. Well, what's going on with that? That, okay. Put it directly behind it. I guess maybe that's the wrong screw, which is fine, because we got other screws. There we go. One in, more to go. I'm gonna leave the camera there just so you can see how these things go in. Okay, that didn't do anything. So back to a different angle. So I'm gonna pause you now. What I'm doing is cable managing this from one of the two fans on the back with just a little wire tie. And all you do is just wrap it up. That way it's not all over the place. And then start from the back, work our way forward. So we have, this is USB, which is nice labeled. Now that I know is all the other ports. This is audio. So audio that we place back here in the back somewhere, and it's keyed. Second one in, it's keyed, so it only goes in one way, so you just have to get a little light, and I have a phone, so the phone is a perfect portable light. And okay, so it goes in with the key towards the right and facing upward. Of course, I'm charging my phone, so that doesn't help much. Oh, and when you feel the pins, then you're putting it in line. So I wear glasses, but not right now. So line up the first pin. You know, we're just going to use the phone. Okay, so what we have to do now, plug in our audio. So it's always keyed a certain way. So there. So then we get the first two. Give myself a little bit more room. I'm going to take the cover off the back here. Because I suspect what's going on is I can't get my finger in there. That's part of the reason why. Because this audio cable is curved a different way than the way I need it to go now. So oh, that's nice. Not the light. There we go. And yes, I did verify. It does say audio. That's why one of the pins is bent. So just need to straighten it out just a little. There it goes. That was a bugger to get on. Okay, so back to camera here. That on. Now front side bus for this. Again, I'll use my camera. USB, again it's keyed. All you have to do is see which way, line up, push it on, push it in your home. These are going to be much more fun right here. These are always the pain. Now we still have to do, we should do that now. Okay, like I said, it's got the legend there, tells me what goes where. So, let's see, hard drive light. Let's see, power LED. Message. What the heck is message? So we're going to zoom in, make that a little bit easier to see. Okay, power plus and minus. Hard drive. So hard drive, we're going to do that first. Sorry, I know I'm putting everything in the way. Message, MSG, but we don't have an MSG. So this is reset software, switch, soft switch. So that's RES, but we will actually, yep, that goes right next to the hard drive, so we'll put that in. Okay, the next pin is CI. We don't have a CI, so that's case. SW, soft reset, power LED, speaker, power, and message. Did I just put the wrong thing? Power switch. This is the reset switch. Now power is PW. So that goes onto the red. Now we have the LED power switch LED, which that's these two here, and it tells us the positive goes on the second one, and then the negative, which would be this one, goes on the top one. Now that's done. Just for fun, we're going to put on our little speaker here. It's 4-pin and that's 4-pin, so it just slides right in there. Go to your home, little speaker. We're going to find a way to cable manage him. Okay, now we moved on, got on that, and we'll move on. That's the hardest part, and having a phone is actually really good because you can actually, just like you saw, use my phone to read the legend here and then put the cabling on. That was fun. Now, what to do about the fans? Need one to split, but I don't know. Just put this back on correctly. And
the screw back on. There we go. We're still good to go, and we're still moving on with life. Now, sometimes I have back plate covers in the drawer here. Fan, there's only used 2. The fans, I have a spare. This is 2 Molex to. I need that. Because I want to power both of those fans in the back, and we don't have any more cover plates. So, sure. Yeah, I know, I have to clean up my drawer. You may take them off the other bad boy, but for now, we're going to plug this one into that, and that is our 3-pin bottom fan. Plug this into here, which is our 3-pin top fan. So we'll have this with RGB, which I don't believe. Oh my god, I don't believe it. Is that going to actually work or not? No, that's not. So we're going to take the muffler off. It's kind of cool thing, and it's just a regular fan screw. I know it's black and you really can't see, but here we go. That's a little better. Here's the second, because this only takes 2 screws. So now, yeah, this was not going to work with that huge cooler, and it'll somewhat, when it's lit up, it'll probably be visible, kind of, which will be nice, I suppose. Okay, again, this case was not designed for cable modding, but we're going to at least try as best we can. We can kind of tuck this under the board there. No, we can't, because it's not going to stay there, but that's okay. 2 extra fan screws. Now, we're going to start putting our hard drives back in. What's nice about this case, you just slide it in. That's it. And then you have to screw it down, of course. So, okay. 3 terabyte was second, but I have other uses for the 3 terabyte. Now what's this one? What are you? You're the Seagate 1 terabyte. You are Western Digital 500 gigabyte you are the Hitachi, and you are 1.5 terabytes, and you're in one big bold letter 1 terabyte. So that now, these cables aren't that long, we'll have to pull them up. And yes, I'm going to, yeah, this has to sit back because of the cables. That's okay as it sits on a little lip. And it helps if I line it up. There we go. Now these are keyed, which means they take a special tray and a slot. Since we don't have those, what we're going to do is we'll cable up, cables up. Does have a little tray, so we can, oh, we're going to just skip that slot and go down to the next one. And maybe we're just going to only have 2 hard drives in this case, which is fine. It's really all we need, and maybe not. Okay, so that's there. Pull this back. There we go. Now, because we don't have the right trays for it, this is what we have to do. Skip a couple slots. Put that in. Always make sure you're putting the back facing out. Otherwise you run into other issues that you really don't want to have. Let's tilt that. There we go. And last but not least is this one. And just right it, put her right in there. Okay, now, all right. Yeah, that one's awfully wiggly. Even though it did tighten down, that's weird. So I don't like that. Not my favorite plan on that one. So I'm gonna put in a different one. Now we're going from 6 to 5 hard drives. There we go. That's nice and tight. Now, swing the case around, and like I say, in this case, we're going to go on the back side now. And always use the right fit for the job. And we go on the back side. it. There we go. Okay. What's that? Review. Go figure. Phillips. See whether it's straight head, Phillips head. Don't matter. The only thing that matters is that you get the right screw. For what you're doing. That's small. That's big. So whenever you're unbuilding something, you know, if you have a case that you're not going to use anymore, always a good idea. The screws. You know, scavenge whatever you can from the case, because you don't know when you can use it in something else, like this. Now all these do is keep the hard drives in place and help hinder the vibration. That's why doing 2 on each side and not 4. Could put 4, but don't really need to. And ooh, that screw's too big. And this is straight. Now the 3 terabyte is going into the rendering system, my everyday system. So we're going to do to start the screw. Nope, smaller screw it is. See, and like I said, it's why you keep screws from other builds or other cases, because you never know when they can come in handy and you'll need them for something else. I'm having to push down on the drive a little bit because the other screw is keeping it pushed up. There we go. That's going in there. Oh, so much for thinking that was going in nicely. It's okay. More to this screw. We have more. We have more screws. And there it is. Okay, now everything's tight and secure. And yeah, spin this back around, show you it ain't moving, ain't going nowhere. They're in there. We have the space there for cables coming through, which again, this is not a case for cable management. So let's start putting things back where they go. So I know this is the boot drive, so the only thing I can do, smaller. I really need hard drive. Hard drive. Hard drive. See? Okay. Hard drives here. So we can plug those in first. One. Again. Camera. Helps to shine light what we're doing, so that way we're putting everything in properly and we're not overtaxing everything. These we can kind of push in over here, which is good. Now, everything's keyed. Get a little click, that's in. This one's a little longer. So 3. Four. See? We'll snap that in. Magic clicking sound. No magic click, but it's in. Now I know the blue is longer, so we'll use that. The one that's a little higher. So this one will be 3. Actually, we'll probably do this is this one 0. 0 goes up to the top one. Make sure it's keyed right. Just keyed down, and it goes right in. Now, this one will go, because that's the boot. That's why and I wanted to put that on there now, because that one is boot. So this one, just plug that in there. This plugs into there. Okay, so now we'll go oranges first, blue. Okay, orange is 0, blue. Yeah, I know, out of focus. There we go. Blue is the second drive. Then yellow is the third. Now, all the ones on the bottom are powered and they're plugged in. So now, take our second hard drive cabling, route it through the top. So we only need two. We'll go one, and yeah, my fat fingers are going to be in the way for this one. 1 and 2. So it doesn't matter how they're powered. It matters that they are. So we have that. Those out of the way. Now we need to plug in for the CPU. Since I have to do first to find out where it is. Here's the CPU. Now we were using all 4 before. Now we're just going to be using, we were using 8 before, now we're going to be only using 4. Here, it doesn't matter as much, so all that matters is that the square is on the top. So, well, guess what? This one, nope. So this side is the side that we go, it goes into the plug. And I need both hands. Okay. That's in and connected. So now's the time to review. What do we have and what's done? So this is powered here, and it could probably draw some power from this USB. It may or may not. It may just be to communicate. So because that's colored, we have one of our fans powered. So now what we need to do is run one, which there's only one, our Molex, down here and plug it in. Now what's nice is that they give you a second Molex. Come on. Sometimes the pins like to line up, sometimes they don't. It is keyed, it's keyed the right way. otherwise I wouldn't have got that in. So pins go in the hole. I realize they want this so that they don't come out, but come on, really? Which is probably why they don't really use Molex anymore. Why we use the different adapters, different connectors for power for hard drives. So now that's plugged in, and now to see, so I have, don't know that I do, which it's fine. I want to see if we have. We don't. Sometimes you have a nice little rubber connector that we can cover that top with, but we don't. Yep, we don't. So, but that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to arc. Have everything connected. And now we have this big thing of wire. And one of them is for the motherboard, which is the last thing we need to plug in. This one is 24 pin, so we can plug in our 20. And then plug in our 4. And that's all plugged in. Maybe. Not yet. You can't, as I said, you can't do this wrong. It only lets you plug it in one way. I'm going to put my fingers back here, support the motherboard, so I'm not tweaking it. And that one's not plugged in. So we'll plug in our 4 first. That one goes top. And then we'll plug in our 20. That may be because they connect together. Plug in the 4. Now plug in the 20. This way, I'm not tweaking the motherboard. And that's all connected and plugged in. Now, as I said, there's no cable management with this system, and we still have one cable. Now this cable is the PCIe, which we're not using. So what we can do, take this here, wrap it, like that, get a nice big, I'll have one here. Another thing you keep, wire ties. Bunch that whole thing up. Pull it together and wire tie it. Now we don't have cables going everywhere. So now, see, very thin. When I put the back panel on, if there's a wire over here or over here, it's going to pinch. So what we have to do is push it through to the inside of the case, And there's a reason why we have this big hole at the top. So that's where our cables are. They're all up here except for what we're using going around. Now, try and, there really isn't anything I can do with the rest of this. But everything's plugged in, everything's connected. So now, what I could do is put the back plate back on. And this case is so old, it comes with a Microsoft XP Professional sticker. Okay, so slide that on, make sure it's together and connected. You can see the screw holes. So hopefully these are the right screws. If they're not, I know I have more screws. Nope. That's definitely the wrong screw. That just went right in. Didn't even attempt to thread. So that screw's too thin. There's it. So why always keep extra screws around? That there. What this does, keeps back panel on and helps to keep it sealed. Okay, now I need another screw. So we can put this in and slot it. See how nice that goes right in. Now I said that it just wants to keep slipping off the screwdriver. There it goes. There we go. That is not going anywhere. These ports are not relevant. We're not using them. We're going to use the Ethernet port, which it has plenty of room. Might use those, maybe not. Might use the USBs. But these three are the only ports that I'm concerned with. So it's okay to me that this doesn't match. Now, we have 1, 2, 3 open slots. So that's what we're going to take off the other. Take it off the other. I'm going to take that off the other computer, and I'll be right back. Okay, now got the back plates from the other system. That's what we do. Let's line these up. Slide them in through, make sure we're not pinching any wires, which is why wires are trying to get themselves pinched. I don't know. That's what they like to do. Now right in nicely. You know what I'm thinking I might do though? Just might go ahead and put that card back in. It's not going to connect to anything, but I doubt digress. Who says that? Jay's 2 cents. Excellent guy. Love his videos. Along with Linus from Canada. Even though he's from Canada, Linus, I'm not going to hold that against you. You're a good guy. Both of you guys are. You guys do excellent work. So we got those 3 covered now. See these? You pinch them off. When you take them off and slide them out, you really can't reuse them because they don't have a tab at the top. When you break them off, it's breaking the tab at the top, and they don't come this way, so you can't reuse them. So you have to do like what I did, is have a system that has them. Reuse them on this one. And I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. This is a PNY, just a basic graphics card. It's not going to hurt anything to put it in here. Just like for a tease, really. Because all I really want is for it to cover up the back plate on the bottom. Not plugged in. I really don't intend to use this card in the future. It's really old. I imagine it's probably 512. So now we have our back all covered. Now what I'm going to do, put some tape this off, close that off, tape that off. So we got the 2 fans here. That's a monster of a fan, cooling fan there. This would have been really cool. It's a really cool little wind tunnel right there. But even at its shortest, it is sticking out past this case. There's no way to use that with that monster cooler. And that monster cooler doesn't belong to that CPU. It belongs to the Ryzen. That's water cooled. With a what was it, 860 Corsair 860 water cooler. These are the DDR3 memory. We have the 2 slots here. Pull back. You can see those up there. You can see them down there. All I'm doing is looking for the notch. See where the notch is. Make sure I line that up right, which I am certain I have. Slide them in to the slot. Make sure that I'm in the right places. Push it down till they click. Love that sound. Click. That means it's in. Same thing here. Line up the notch. Line up the slot. And this one's going to be a butt head. There we go. And push it in till it clicks. Now I can take these, trap them like that. I don't want those exposed. This I can put underneath here. Kind of use that as a little cable management. That poor graphics card that isn't plugged into anything is going to be used as a cable manager. Have our nice little colored cabling. Alright. And under there, Just gives it a little bit of resistance to keep it all in place. Now, 5 hard drives, they're all plugged in. That's what we want to make sure. And now, we are going to test it. Nice thin boot drive.
Yeah, I know that one was a bit of a long one. It was a how-to, step-by-step. You could follow along, even if you're building the same exact system, or if you're building a different system with it, you could still follow along. It would still apply. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe in the comments below. If you have any questions, comments, issues, whatever, feel free to ask the question. I'll answer it as best I can. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.